Akoko, founder of Akoko restaurant. The cooking here at Akoko restaurant is inventive and also centered around a trilogy of live fire cooking, umami, and spices. This time we're going to have our executive chef, Theo, show us our signature Gambian oyster stew.
So the dish with oysters, we use these lovely Carlingford oysters that come from Ireland, and we're going to cook them directly onto the coals in the background. We'll start off with the sauce. So not much dairy is used in West African cooking, so it looks like a lot, but we always skim some off towards the end. Quite a lot of red onions. We sweat them down. Big pinch of salt as well. As you can see, there is a lot of oil in there. When your onions start to soften, add a nice, generous bit of garlic paste. So instead of having to dice up garlic every time in the restaurant, we just blend it, have paste ready to go, because it is key to a lot of our sauces. Ginger, again, another paste. Just blended with oil and salt. Keeps consistency as well, because obviously even ginger changes throughout the year. And then last but not least is what we call carne. So this is our own chili sauce. So it's red peppers, onions, and Scotch bonnets, seeds in, just caramelized down and blended. Again, this is extremely spicy, so only a touch. So lastly, we're gonna add our pepper paste, which is basically like an injection of umami. So it's tomatoes, red peppers, and red onions. We blitz it all together, and then we reduce it down basically to a concentrate. Chuck it in, and then this is really important now, is to fry it off. Make it rich, it makes it dark, and it really enhances the flavor. This is why you need so much oil. So we're gonna fry this off for about 35, 40 minutes. For the oysters, we're gonna cook them straight on the coals. But first of all, you need to release the hinge. Otherwise, you're going to have exploding oysters. So just pop it in just until it pops like that. That's all you need to do. Straight away, directly onto the coals. I'm just going to leave them there minute and a half until you see them start to bubble. So basically, they're poaching in their own juices. And then just like a piece of meat, same with fish, you just want to rest it. So just rest it in its shell till they're cool enough to handle. So the stew's been cooking now, about half an hour, so we're going to finish it before transferring it to the blender. So some lemon. So this is one of the key components of the stew. So it is a lemony tomato stew. Some double cream for some richness as well. So all that oil is going to emulsify into the sauce and give you a really smooth, creamy mouthfeel. Chuck it in. We're going to set it to 80 degrees as well. Things generally, they'll blend better on heat and emulsify. So about 6.5 minutes, and turn it up. So once this is blended, it's going to be lovely and smooth and emulsified. So pass that off into our siphon. So this dish is a warm dish. So you've been blending this on heat. So you do want to act quite quickly. So we aerate this, so it just lightens up the stew. You've got cream, you've got tomatoes, you've got onions, so it's rich. But putting it in a gun, aerating it, makes it light and luxurious. We're going to move on to the oyster. So they've been resting, so now I can pick them up without burning myself. So just release the muscle back into a little tray. So then we're going to glaze it with our locust bean miso glaze. So these are locust beans. It's an ingredient extremely common in West Africa. We ferment them, make our own miso, and then turn it into this glaze. So we're going to glaze these. Stops them drying out. And then we're going to chuck the whole thing back onto the barbecue just to warm back through. So again, just straight on the coals, that's fine. Going to leave them just until you see them to steam, and we can build the rest of the dish. So oysters are ready. So we're just going to slice them. So this one we're just going to go into 3. Present it on this with the shell. There we go. So we're going to put a touch of pickled cucumber in. This is quite a sweet pickle. This will not overpower the oyster. You've got your locust bean miso glazed oyster that's been cooked on the coals. This is our Gambian stew. Rich in onions, tomatoes, all packed with umami, and this glaze and the oyster itself. Straight over the top. And then with all the cucumber skins left over, turn them into a little powder, put it on top so nothing is wasted. So this is our dish. It's a Carlingford oyster cooked over coals, served with a Gambian stew.